I just found out about this and I have no idea what to do or who to talk to, so I'll talk about it here. I, 25F, met my girlfriend, Julia, 32F, about 2 years ago. I met Julia when I had just started my job as a firefighter, and Julia was a volunteer for a therapy dog group that visits our hall pretty regularly. Typically, they will bring the dogs in after a crew responds to a particularly bad incident. I had dealt with what I would consider my first traumatizing incident about a month after I started working. The next day Julia and a couple other volunteers showed up with the dogs. There was a very sweet golden doodle named Molly that approached me and sat very nicely for me while I pet her. Molly is Julia's dog. This started my first conversation with Julia, and afterwards I was absolutely smitten with her. Julia is a stunning woman with a very sweet disposition and a soft voice. After she left I couldn't stop thinking about her. Julia was so amazing to me. She was the kind of woman that made me fall into that stupid stereotype of lesbians that fall in love way too fast and way too hard. After a few months of Julia bringing her dog in, I worked up the nerve to ask her if she would want to get coffee with me on my next day off, and she agreed. When it came to the date, I was having the time of my life. Julia was so interested in me. She was asking about me so much and looked like she was hanging on to every word I said. We had talked for probably 3 hours, and then Julia asked me if I wanted to walk around in a nearby park, which I happily agreed to do. We walked and talked some more until we came up to a bench, and we both sat on it and looked out at the creek that splits the park in half. I could feel Julia staring at me, so I looked at her and asked her what was on her mind. She grabbed my face and kissed me. This kiss started a relationship that has lasted for about 1.5 years, and up until a couple hours ago, was a relationship that I thought would never fail. Every date or every instance I spent time with Julia was like that first date. I used to think she was just so head over heels for me that all she wanted to do was hear me talk or learn more about me, but now I realize I'm a fucking idiot and she just didn't want me to know too much about her. Looking back on it, it should have been more clear. I've hardly seen Julia's house. The times I have been there, we would always stay in the living room, even when I would spend the night. I have never stepped foot in her bedroom. She also was only interested in having sex with me if it was at my house or in a hotel room. She never initiated when I was at her place, and if I did, she would always say she was just in the mood to cuddle. If we went on dates, she would dress nice, but not really like it was a date. I always ensured my hair and makeup looked its best, and I would have my cutest dresses on, but Julia would always be underdressed compared to me, unless it was a date that we went on while we were out of town. That's another thing too, she loved taking short trips away when our days off lined up. I thought she just liked venturing around, but again, I was just a fucking idiot and didn't think anything of the fact that she would get dressed to the nines with me when we were a couple hours out of the city, and do things she wouldn't normally do on our dates at home, like hold hands with me or kiss me in public. The way I ended up finding out about Julia's real life, her life that I didn't exist in, was pretty dumb. The only social media that I knew Julia had was Instagram, and she has a private page with very few followers and she never posts anything. Today I was bored at home on a day off, and I was going through a box of things from when I was in high school, and I found my old phone. I had a different Instagram account when I was a teenager that I had forgotten the login details to, but that phone was still logged into that account. I thought it would be funny if Julia got a follow request from high school me, so I searched her name up and was surprised to see that a second account had popped up. Julia's last name is unique, so I was even more surprised to see that the second account that showed up had her unique last name hyphenated with another name. I clicked on that account and it was private, but it was very obviously more active than the account I knew about. This account had over 800 followers, more than 100 posts, and, worst of all, a profile picture of my girlfriend kissing a man that I had never seen before on the cheek. As soon as I saw that, I felt like my stomach had turned upside down. I told myself there had to be some sort of explanation for it. Maybe it was a family member that she was really close to or something. I went on my current Instagram account and searched specifically for Julia's account with the hyphenated last name, and nothing popped up, meaning she had my current account blocked on her mystery account. I googled Julia and the mystery last name, and the first result was a LinkedIn page for Julia with that same hyphenated last name from Instagram. I made a fake LinkedIn account and I looked at her profile and everything matched up. Picture of Julia that looked like my girlfriend, same job, same previous job, same volunteer experience with the therapy dog group, same college background. The only thing about this LinkedIn page that was different from the Julia I knew was that hyphenated last name. Then I did something I wish I didn't. I should have closed the tab and forgotten about this and told myself if was a cousin in that profile pic and the hyphenated name doesn't mean anything. But I didn't. Instead I looked through Julia's connections until I found what I was dreading seeing. A guy with a mysterious last name that looked like the mystery man from the profile picture. I searched his full name on Google, which gave me results of some Facebook posts that he had interacted with. I opened Facebook, made an account there, clicked on his profile, and sure as shit, his profile picture is the same one of Julia kissing him on the cheek. I wanted to deny that too. I wanted to tell myself it's just a weird family thing that I don't understand, but it was difficult to do that when his cover photo was a wedding photo of him and a younger looking Julia. I threw up when I saw that, and now here I am. I keep going back to Facebook to look at that picture, and I hate myself every time I do. I don't know what to do. I hate myself for having the stupid idea to follow Julia with my old Instagram account. I was so happy 4 hours ago, and now my life has been flipped on its head. I feel so used and disgusting. I feel a weird possessiveness over Julia. Like I need to go fight this random guy that turned out to be her husband to prove that I deserve her more. I feel like I've been robbed. Like life cheated me. This has been the best relationship I've ever had. Julia is the most amazing woman I've ever met, and all I am is her side piece. What the fuck do I do? Where do I go from here? We would do things like go online and look at cute little houses for sale that Julia said she wants to buy together. We would take Molly to the dog park, and Julia would refer to her as our daughter to other dog owners there that would talk us. When jewelry ads would come on while we were watching TV, she'd make jokes about one of the nice engagement rings being for me soon. What was her plan? Where was this going to go? At what point would this lie have gotten too big for her to handle and she'd just cut me off and abandon me for the other life she had built for so much longer with her husband? I'm at a loss. The texts Julia has sent me for the last few hours have gone unanswered. She knew I was doing nothing tonight, so now she's starting to send question marks and ask if I'm okay because she knows I'm not too busy to be unable to answer her. I don't want to talk to her, but I also want to send her a picture of what I found and let her know that I know. I want to act like everything is normal and invite her over to spend the night. I don't really have any friends except the guys on my squad at work, but this isn't something that I want to drag them into. I'm an only child, and I was raised by my grandparents who are both senile, so they can't help me. I don't know what to do or who to go to.